There's another competition up and running on the channel. In fact, there's going to be a giveaway every week throughout May, running from Monday through to Sunday each week. I was supposed to tell you about this yesterday. But if you head over to lollujo.fm/giveaway, if you're already subscribed to the channel, you can enter just by clicking to confirm you subscribe. There's a few other ways you can enter as well. And you can win £100 plus of games and gaming goodies. I can't even remember what's in this one. I know there's a Skylanders set for Wii U. There's a couple of Xbox games. I think Xbox One, Xbox 360 games. There's T-shirts. There's a baseball cap, key rings, a Lego set. I think it's a Halo Lego set. Look at the vlog channel. I showed you everything that was in there on the vlog channel earlier today, but I can't remember now. But we'll be doing one of those every week throughout May, so keep an eye on that link. It will just update on the same link each Monday, lollujo.fm/giveaway. Hello and welcome to Season 18, Episode 4 of Non-League to Legend. I'm Kev, and coming up on today's episode, we've got two massive home games against two of the best teams in the Premier League. We're at home against Man City, and then at home against Stoke. It's first and third in the Premier League. This is make or break time for us. If we win, imagine if we won both of these games, we could be right up there in the mix for Champions League spots. If we lose them both, as I would expect us to do, then we'll be dancing around down here trying to cling on to a Europa League spot by the end of the episode. One could argue that's a more appropriate position for us to be in. In interesting news, though, the board, in fact, two pieces of related interesting news. The media asked me how I felt about the way we've overperformed, bearing in mind I have one of the smallest net spends in the Premier League. £130 million is one of the smallest net spends in the Premier League. That puts some of these transfer fees into context, hopefully. And the other thing is the board decided that because I've been so hard done by and not had enough money to spend, they've increased my transfer budget remaining from £11 million up to £41 million. So the transfer window opens again in just over 4 weeks' time. I've got £41 million to spend in January. This is going to be fun. But we're not going to worry about that. Since you were last with me, we're on a little bit of an unbeaten run. Unbeaten in the league since we lost to Liverpool a couple of episodes ago now. I think you watched that game. But we've had a couple of episodes since then. A little bit of a stutter against Crystal Palace at home, where we really should have done better. Palace are a team scraping for survival. But couldn't resist showing you Man City and Stoke. And 3 home games in a row, we could potentially come out of this with just 1 point from the 3 of them if the remaining 2 go to form. But, you've got to hope we can do a little bit better than that. And then we've got Ipswich on the horizon as well. There's not going to be much space between these episodes at the moment. We're going to have a big long run here where I don't show you anything for like 3 months. This is going to be a 15-episode season. Right, this is the team for today's game. We are still hit by injuries. Sandy Patterson, still not fit. He's going to be out for another month or so. And Wagner has now picked up an injury as well. He's out for a couple of weeks. So Igor Anicic finally finds his way into this Spurs team this season, which, that's probably an area I'm looking to strengthen. My thoughts for January are we buy a proper defensive central midfield player, or a proper left back, or a proper goalkeeper, or maybe find some way to stretch £41 million across all 3 of those positions. But we all know I'll probably just splurge the whole lot on a left back and then not play him, because that's how I like to do things. So our team for today's game, a very important game against top of the table Man City. We've got Diaz in goal, a back 4 of Hansel, Eriksson, Caetano and Ndai. Yes, that's right, Mr. £60 million centre-back is on the bench for today's game. I don't want to talk about it. Midfield of Sedman, Anicic and Ziyech. Sabrian in behind Vendrig and Ijo. That was a tough call between Vendrig and Nole, but Nole was really frustrating against Crystal Palace. Vendrig came on and looked more alive, so he gets a nod today. That might be something that changes up fairly early on. Well, not fairly early on, sometime in the second half if it's not going well. Yes, we want to keep up our good form. We're not playing Polmans because he's rubbish and could potentially be 4th choice key. We'll probably sell him in January. He's still a current Belgian international. We've got Kevin Thompson at the club. We're looking to sign another goalkeeper as well. There's no reason to be keeping Polmans around. Diaz can sit on the bench. Thompson can make the tea. And the Belgian international can go and play for someone else. I don't care where he goes. I'm taking him out of my squad regardless because Big Kev has to be in there because he makes my pack up every day. So I've got to have him in and around the squad at all times. City in their first attack, and that's a good challenge across. In fact, both Ericsson and Caetano did well there. That's why Plotnikov is not in the team, because those two are forming quite a good partnership. Plotnikov can play left back, interestingly. So I have flirted, particularly in the Crystal Palace game, with bringing him on, just sticking him at left back. But I can't bring myself to start him out of position at left back when I paid £60 million for him. I'd rather have him on the bench and just pretend I'm resting him, save a little bit of face. I don't know what's going on. The game is... I don't know if you're getting this as well. I noticed it a couple of times in that first half. The game is just sort of jerking around. It might not be coming through on the video. There, it just did one then. Did you see that? Did anything happen? I don't know whether it's my display or whether the game is just sort of shaking a little bit. I have been playing on the beta version that was the fix for the issue that we had when they brought out the January patch up until today, but I downloaded the data editor today for another save. Yes, we've gone 1-0 up for another save. It's going to be starting this week, hopefully. And to do that, I had to come out of the beta and go back to the normal version of Football Manager, but it seems to be a little bit unstable still. I don't know if that's an issue people are having. And I also don't know whether I can go back onto that beta now. But Sir Brian... I mean, he didn't really know where he was. He was just spinning around looking for the ball, and somehow City don't come across and cover, and he tucks it into the back of the net. We're 1-0 up against top of the table Man City, and as you can see, if things were to stay as they are now, that puts us up into a Champions League spot and 3 points off Man City at the top of the league, with Stoke, one of the teams above us, to play next. This could be a remarkable episode if things continue to go as well as they have done so far. Sedman out to Hansel. Hansel crosses and doesn't really... really about it. It doesn't make it past the goalkeeper. And the two strikers have both been very, very quiet today. Sir Brian providing all the life and making us forget that Sandy Patterson's injured. We've just conceded an equaliser though. That's a shame. I mean, let's not get too downhearted about it. Man City are top of the league. They're a much better team than we are. If we can come out of this with a draw, that's a mighty fine result. But it would be nice to... I mean, look, he's got his head in his hands, whoever that was. He's devastated. I think that might have been Ericsson. Diaz, really underlining why I'm looking to buy a goalkeeper in January. Vendrick has been rubbish. Nole comes on. And Anicic hasn't been great either. Let's bring Langdick on. Actually, Alfie Welsh, he's a bit of a... He's a shout for that position because he's a centre-back, but he can play in midfield. I tried him there for a little bit in the Palace game and he seemed good. We'll try him there a little bit again today. I mean, it's not the most attacking substitution in the world. Hopefully Nole gives us a bit going forward and Welsh might just offer a little bit of extra resistance to City breaking on us. We're going to bring Sedlacek on as well and just swap those two over. We've now got our £60 million defender on the bench and our £53 million striker is coming off. And they've given me another £40 million to spend. The Tottenham board are insane. Oh no, there's the winner. I mean, that's just, it makes you sad. You get that sinking feeling inside because we had played so well. We've had 21 shots in this game. Hansel was out or out. No, it's Ericsson, I think. Ericsson with a good shout for letting Plotnikov back in the team for the Stoke game because he was really sold a dummy in advance of that cross coming in. And if we can go back and look at the stats at some point, there we go. 21 shots. We've not had a clear-cut chance though, whereas City have had 2. Sedman's equalised though. I was not expecting us to come flying back into this game. And with 4 minutes left to go, it's all square and we're in the ascendancy. Oh, let's go and grab a really unlikely winner. Because the longer this game's gone on, the more the more Man City has started to show that they're obviously much higher quality than we are. We've not created a clear-cut chance at all. None of the combinations of strikers we've tried today have been any kind of threat. But to come out of that with 2-2, that is another very good result. We did it against Chelsea. We've done it again today. We're not getting these draws in the most conventional way you'd expect us to, but we're going out attacking and not losing. And hopefully we'll do the same thing against Stoke. Just the 2 changes for the Stoke game. We've brought Nole back in up front for Vendrick because Vendrick might as well have not been there in the last game. And Plotnikov comes back in at the back with Caetano dropping down to the bench. If we can play as well against Stoke as we did against Man City and against Chelsea previously, and maybe cut out some of the silly mistakes we had against Chelsea, but if we can keep playing as well as we are going forward, then surely we're going to beat one of these bigger teams at some point and announce ourselves as we head towards the second half of the season, properly announce ourselves as contenders for a European spot for next season. As it stands right now, we are hovering just outside the Europa League spots. I think it's 5th and 6th going to the Europa League, top 4 Champions League. I don't think that has changed from current reality, but I think we've had a good enough start to the season to be trying to push on in the second half of the season for a Champions League spot. But in order to do that, we need to win games like today. A win today puts us right in the mix. Defeat means probably not, and yet another draw, and it becomes probably one draw too many, and we are looking more realistically at the Europa League maybe. But we're still not even at the halfway point yet. Let's not get carried away. Let's just try and win this football match and see where that takes us from there. We've had more shots than they have. They've had more possession than us. It's fairly even so far. But Ijo's in here, beats the goalkeeper. It's 1-0 with 28 minutes on the clock. Claudio Ijo with his 13th goal of the season. And I didn't get a chance to look at the league table before it clicked over onto the highlight. I have restarted the game between the last match and this match. It seems to have taken that issue away. So apologies if you were getting the same issue I was, or whether it was just a monitor thing. Maybe, I don't know. But if it was jittery in the first of the two games, hopefully that issue has gone away because I've not had it yet in this game. But that, if things stay as they are, get your words out, Kev. If things stay as they are, that allows us to leapfrog Stoke on the basis of goal difference because, I'm in charge. We score goals and leaves us 6 points away from City, who are top of the league, but only 2 points away from Arsenal and Chelsea in 3rd and 4th. And in those all-important Champions League spots, and we're not even at the halfway point of the season yet. If we can strengthen in the right ways in January with this big pile of cash that we've been given, the Champions League should be on this season, and that will be a ridiculous piece of overachievement if we can pull it off. I have been linked with the Liverpool job in the media this week, which seems like an odd one. They are in the Europa League this season, but why on earth would I want to leave Tottenham to go to Liverpool at this point? I've been at Spurs less than a year. I mean, less than half a year. We've done this probably is our 19th or 20th game in charge of Spurs. So we've had about half a season. We're making massive progress. I've spent loads of money. I at least want to do a full season here and see where we end up. And realistically, I don't see myself managing anyone else in England now unless I get fired. I want to establish Spurs in the Champions League, maybe have a pop at winning a league title, and then move on to a big European club. That's the career plan as it stands at the moment. I think I'm 51 in game now. So we've got, I don't know, realistically maybe another 10 seasons if we play this through to the bitter end. And I would like to do that this year. We didn't get to do it last year. And I'd like to have a little bit of a tour of some top European clubs. Do it Jose Mourinho style and just have season or two here, season or two there. Win the league in Italy, win the league in Spain, win the league in Germany. It appeals to me as a way to finish off the save this year. But goodness me, am I getting ahead of myself, bearing in mind we're just beating Stoke 1-0 at the moment. I need some perspective sometimes. Ijo doesn't care about perspective. He's made it 2-0, his 14 for the season. I think we might have Stoke beaten today. And I said if we manage to pull a performance out against one of the big teams without the silly defensive mistakes, then we're going to announce ourselves as a force to be reckoned with. And fingers crossed that's what's happening today. We're absolutely dominating Stoke if we look at the stats. 4 clear-cut chances to their 2. We're still behind for possession, but we've had so many more shots than they have, and only 2 of them have been long shots. So we are working the ball towards the box and doing really rather well at it. Right, Ijo out to Ndai. Look at that for a pass. Ijo can hover in for his hat-trick. He doesn't get there, though. And Stoke collect, and let's not let him back into the game now. I know this is the time to just drop the defensive line back, maybe have an extra body in midfield, take it down to control or standard, but I'm not going to do any of those things because whenever I've done that in the past, they've always been our transitional seasons where we've not done very well. The times when we've been successful, the times we've just attacked all season long, even when it feels like it's not working. We just stick to our guns, attack, and then it comes good. Caetano's coming on for Plotnikov. I don't know what I'm going to do. Plotnikov's a problem. I was convinced you lot were all wrong when I signed him. The amount of times I wrote world-class defender when people were saying he was rubbish, but he is just not. He's not fitting in at the moment, and I think Caetano and Eriksson might be my first choice centre-backs at the moment, which is a bit scary to say. And I don't know why the board have given me more money to spend when I spent it so irresponsibly in the summer. But, low net spend, so doesn't matter if one of them's a dud. I can balance out Plotnikov with Sandy Patterson for £1.6 million. Average amount, £30 million a piece. Seems about right. Kev doesn't overspend. And why are we... Look at that, an unbeaten run. 7 games unbeaten. And we end the episode 5th with 3 games to go until the halfway point of the season. And we're hovering, ready to pounce and push on for a Champions League push in the second half of the season. If you've enjoyed today's episode, please make sure you pop a like on there for me. Subscribe to the channel if you'd like to see more. And thank you very much for watching.